Volkswagen's Golf is synonymous with a certain type of car. The competition prefers to call them compacts. But in every test, the Golf is always king of the heap. But the competition is growing, such as Ford's new diesel-powered Focus. If it wants to dethrone the Golf, it's going to have to get past a few others first. The French are also in the running with Renault's Megane. This diesel packs a punch with sporty seats, leather steering wheel, 18-inch alloy wheels. But its chassis is as stiff as cement. Fine for racing, but for everyday use, it can literally be a pain in the neck. The Megane tops out at 215 kilometers an hour and delivers 118 kilowatts. It can hit 100 in 8.7 seconds. That puts it in third place behind the Ford Focus and the Golf GTD. It's the worst as far as fuel efficiency goes, but is right in the middle when it comes to the price tag.
Our test driver Dirk Blanke reckoned the Megane has a lot of character.
The good news is that the engine has a lot of bite without being too noisy. The bad news is the suspension, or lack of it, that lets you feel every bump. If you like it a little less wild, then check out what Mazda has to offer. The Mazda 3 Series isn't anything to write home about, but it's packed full of goodies. Not just automatic air conditioning, but things like blind spot detection and a tire pressure monitoring system. Top speed is only 205 kilometers per hour, which puts the Mazda far behind the rest. But its 2.2-liter diesel serves up 110 kilowatts and keeps up with the competition as far as acceleration goes. And it's the cheapest one of them all. You can pick one up in Germany for 25,390 euros.
Dirk says the Mazda is big on the outside, but small on the inside, something Opel is also good at.
He found the back seat extremely tight, but was impressed with how tastefully the Mazda's kitted out. Again, the suspension leaves a lot to be desired, especially on bumpy roads. Dirk liked the 2.2-liter engine, smooth and quiet. Not much punch, but certainly enjoyable. Next in line is the Opel Astra. It's got what it takes to get the Focus and Golf shaking in their boots. Price-wise, the Astra's right in between, with the Ford about 600 euros cheaper here in Germany. It tops the 5-liter diesels for fuel efficiency, but performance-wise, the Astra can't keep up with the Focus and the Golf. If we take a look at the stats, you can see the Opel shares third place with Renault for maximum speed, but is back and forth when it comes to acceleration. It needs 9 seconds to get up to 100 kilometers an hour.
Our test driver was disappointed at how much room Opel has wasted in the Astra. At 4.42 meters, it could have been a solid mid-range, but it's really tight in the back. But he loved the Flex Ride feature that can adjust the suspension to sportier or comfier. The only way you're going to beat the Golf is at the cash till. VW wants almost 30,000 euros for the GTD. That's 3,000 more than its European competitors and 4,500 more than the Mazda. So what does the Golf have that the others don't? Well, for one thing, it has more space, but also a touch more class. You notice this as soon as you switch cars. Plus, the engine is the strongest of them all. It chucks out 125 kilowatts, allowing the GTD to max out at 220 kilometers per hour and leave the others in the dust. It also takes it from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in just 8.1 seconds. For Dick Bronca, it feels like the Golf has been top of its class for a century. He can't see that changing either. It has the most space, and unlike the others, there's enough room in the back seat. He loved the interior finishing, the comfort, and especially singles out the 2-liter TDI that runs as smooth as silk. Ford's gone with a coupe look for the new Focus. Its new form is designed to look more dynamic, especially the angular windshield. Ford calls it kinetic design. These days, it's all about looking sportier. But the Focus only does this on the outside. The latest edition of the Ford is much comfier than its predecessor. The steering is just as precise, but the overall handling and chassis are not as tough and relentless. The stats put the Ford Focus just behind the Golf GTD with a top speed of 218 kilometers an hour. And it's second place for performance, 120 kilowatts. It can hit 100 kilometers an hour in 8.6 seconds, half a second behind the competition from Wolfsburg. It's a little more fuel efficient, though. Our test driver liked the look of the new Focus, though it was a bit over the top inside. He says the driving experience is now more comfortable, but not as spirited and precise as its predecessor. The engine is a big success, with a 2-liter diesel full of drive. The Ford Focus is hot on the heels of King Golf and definitely gives more bang for your buck. At 26,450 euros, it's about 3,000 euros cheaper than the VW. For that amount, you could throw in some extras, like emergency brake assist, lane assist, or blind spot assist. The Focus leads the pack with its safety features. Still, it's not enough to make it pick of the bunch. It easily beats the Megane and the Mazda. The Astra is more of a worry. But when it comes to cost, the Focus is ahead. Overall, though, the Golf still rules the road. You're going to pay a lot more for it than for the new Focus, but it's worth it. The Ford's let down by the interior finishing and the cramped rear seat and trunk, but it was a good try.